What's up, guys? So I thought I'd give the Holy Spec a try, seeing the Discipline spec had been a lot of fun for me. So this isn't going to be a detailed guide like others I've done. It will be a pretty quick guide of sorts, and with many comparisons to the Discipline playstyle and maybe some allusions to other healing specs. So I won't be discussing Holy Priest spells in detail, and I'll be making straight up recommendations. Also, as with my other guides, it will be basic, and I'm hoping it helps you learn about the spec in case you want to try it out. Now, the key difference in the Holy Spec is the lack of absorbs, or the missing preventive healing nature of Disc Priests. As mentioned in my Discipline Healing Guide, Disc values absorbs greatly and makes sure any damage that can be prevented will be before any actual healing is done. So this makes me, on a personal, this makes me prefer the Disc healing style, as I've also mentioned in some of my tanking guides. This doesn't mean Holy isn't raid worthy though. It is in fact pretty good and fun. I found out that I was able to, trying this Holy Spec thing, I was able to ease into healing as a Holy Spec priest as opposed to Disc. So it's probably familiarity with the class, but it was easier for me anyways. So for the talents, I did very slight variations in trying out the Holy Spec. So here's a side-by-side of them. Note that, I did leave you guys with some options in my Discipline guide, depending on the situation, but I'm choosing some default picks just for the sake of comparison. Well, as you can see, Angelic Feather is the only difference I would actually recommend. This is mainly due to avoiding any mismatches or how shall I say it, complications in case you run with a Disc Priest in your raid. Discipline Priests make better use of body and soul. Now, for the last tier, I feel Holy Priest should definitely go with Mending, as Disc Priests will have better use for clarity of will. Now, one thing, aside from these talents, one other thing that's important for Holy Priests to consider or to understand is that the spec has stances called chakras. You will have 3 picks, so the first one is Sanctuary, the second one is Serenity, and the third one is Chastise. So, from what you're seeing right now, basically only the first 2 stances you're seeing right now are worth noting for the healing role. So, if you're just starting out, then Sanctuary can be a very good choice for your chakra or stance. If Disc Priests have the basic spam sequence via Power Word Shield, then Holy Priest can also do a simple spam sequence while learning the class. So here's the basic when considering the Sanctuary stance. So that's basically just using Renew and Circle of Healing. Now, what you're seeing right now, I'm saying spamming Renew and Circle of Healing, it's obviously oversimplified, and it definitely will not make you a good healer in raids, but it is a basic concept. So it works really well with the Sanctuary stance or chakra, because of the Renew spam on different raid members makes Circle of Healing available in basically no time at all. So it kind of reminds me of how Druids heal, but with its own flavor. You have to be quick though, since just remember, unlike Disc Priests that can basically prevent incoming damage, Holy Priests are more reactive in nature. Now let's not make sure to forget the other chakra, which is Serenity. What it basically does, the important part, is that it gives you the spell Holy Word Serenity. It's best used for smaller groups. Serenity is often kept up on the tank or on the raid member that is taking on a lot of damage. Now, as I did mention earlier, the Renew and Circle of Healing spam, it's not the only thing you should be doing in raids. If you're a meters conscious kind of person, you won't show up on the meters with just that. So you'll have to work in the following spells you're seeing right now. There's Prayer of Mending, Prayer of Healing, Yeah, well, it's still useful. Holy Word Sanctuary, Heal, Binding, or Flash Heal, either of the three, depending on the situation and the urgency of the situation. The other one is Cascade, which is a talent pick. And of course, you are expected to dispel whenever needed, which is with your Purify or Mass Dispel ability. Now, of course, Mending should be the spell you drop on the tank before the fight, and throw in maybe a renew as a pre-hot. Now, Prayer of Healing is best used when you want to build up Serendipity stacks from casting Flash Heal or Binding Heal. Of course, as the raid-wide damage starts to increase or things are, getting a bit hectic, then you can spam Prayer of Healing or along with Circle of Healing. Now, if the tank is also, a bit of trouble, then it's Flash Heal, or you can also spam Binding Heal, as it helps, to heal the tank or one target and yourself. Now, I kind of hesitated with Sanctuary, as I feel it's a bit weak in terms of the healing output, but if you can properly drop it in a good location without everyone being moving out of it, then of course you should be able to use it. Now, of course, sometimes you'll be in a very, very difficult situation, so make sure to keep the following spells in mind. So that's Guardian Spirit, Divine Hymn, and Lightwell. Now, Hymn is very much just like the Druid's Tranquility spell. Now, Lightwell is like dropping a totem, but it lasts for 3 minutes, so it is a cooldown ability, mainly because it takes about 3 minutes for the recharge. But you can also use it as often as possible due to its duration once you drop it. One thing about the Guardian ability is that just remember that you still need to make sure you land heals to get the most out of it, unless you simply wanted to prevent a killing blow on your tank or one other raid member. Okay, now for this part, if you're considering stat priority, I really was just making this guide in mind for those who wanted to try, who've been using the priest class for a bit, or who've been on disc for a very long time and are just basically just curious on how holy priests heal. But in case you need a priority list, the general consensus is that Multistrike is the top stat. So, however, as I've noticed, it appears to be a very scarce stat. If you can't find a lot of it, just make sure to work on other stats, like the ones you're seeing on your screen right now. So Multistrike, Intellect, Haste, and Mastery. Now, for macros or add-ons, I suggest checking the last part of my disc healing guide to get an idea of which add-ons and macros you may want to use. Any mouse over macro or add-on or hover casting macro add-on is always recommended to allow more movement for your priest, or basically it allows for better targeting. And that's it for this guide on how you can quickly get up to speed on the holy spec. So it doesn't discuss the many, well, you've noticed it, and especially compared to my other guides, if you've seen them, it doesn't discuss the many nuances of the class. So it's highly recommended that you go over your spellbook or check some blogs on how you can actually heal as a priest. If you want to get more details or the very specifics of your spells, or you want to understand how your spells work, details and stuff like that. So that's important, especially if it's your first time on the healing role or the priest class itself. Well, thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.